Hey friends, this is David Bedrick, and I'm here to do, make sure my sound is proper here. There we go. Hey Nikki, I'm glad you're here, and we'll get you on in a moment. I'm here to do another episode. I think this is the 5th of UnShamed TV. No, it's the 6th, I think. Is that true? Anyway, my memory is somewhere else because I'm thinking about being present for someone here today. And that's different for me than just being at ease in myself. It's a matter of being there for someone else. And that always brings out the best in me. The presence in me comes out because someone else needs that. This is the kind of human being I've always been. Galway Canal. Hi. I always start with a word from his poem, St. Francis and the Sow, and the opening of the poem is the bud, the seed, the bud, like the bud of a flower. The bud stands for all things. That means that everything can be looked at as a bud, a kind of a pregnancy inherent in nature, such that if the right nourishment, sunshine, love, I should call it, is put upon that bud, it will flower. And if shame is put upon that bud, dismissal, you're not that big a deal, you don't matter, denial, I don't believe you and believe in you, gaslighting, what's wrong with you, why are you like that, why are you causing problems? That's shame. And when shame is put upon something, it enfolds and hides itself and then can't be seen. It gets covered over with shame. And then what we get is shame's presentation. Let me tell you why I'm a screwed up person. People come with that presentation. That's not the thing. That's the shame's interpretation of it. And many people come to therapy. I've done that for 30 years with the shame's interpretation of themselves. Why am I like this? And so for 30 years, I've worked on developing a model and practice set of skills and awareness to unshame. That means to see things as a bud. I always model unshaming in my teaching because that's very important to me. But I haven't done that before UnShamed TV as part of a social media offering. And I've just tried to describe, sometimes pedantically, academically, what I'm trying to do. But a friend of mine who's now the producer, Kieran, said, people see what you're doing, David, and they get a whole different experience than they can get by having your descriptions. So I decided to do UnShamed TV. I'm going to invite Nikki on. I have not worked with Nikki before, at least that I'm not remembering. Nikki, maybe you're going to remind me of something. I don't ask a person to talk to me about their difficulties. Kieran vets people, make sure they have consent to doing this so that they're working with somebody live in public so people can see that. I could write about that and people will see, so they get consent. They know it's not like a therapeutic relationship, meaning they're not going to hang out with me afterwards. It's going to be like a 20-minute, 30-minute process together, and that's all. I like not to know things before I meet the person because then I'm fresh. Does that make sense? I'm fresh and I see them with new eyes, and I like to do that. Okay, I'm going to invite Nikki on. I see it says your request. Go live with Nikki. She's here. Thank you all for being here and for sharing UnShamed TV with folks. There she is.
Hello.
Hi there. I'm just going to make my thing a little louder so I can hear well. Nikki, hi there. Oh, let me sing a little bit too so that I am more in the screen. And I'm going to move back a little bit so people can see easier. Am I saying your name right?
Yes, you are. Hello,
Okay.
David.
Nice to see you. I'm going to say meet you. I guess we've connected on Facebook and things like that, but we haven't I don't remember if we've ever sat, not one-on-one, I know, but maybe you've been in a group that I didn't notice.
No, not at all. I've been following you as one of the people in my thought leaders that I follow. So thank you for putting yourself out there.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very meaningful to me to show people what it's like to be looked at, not as if they have problems, but as if they're a bud, as if something in them is beautiful, intelligent, powerful, things like that.
I find that perspective deeply honoring of the humanity in all of us.
Oh, thanks, Nikki. Do you want to say a little bit about what's on your mind and heart, what you would love to get some help with? And then I'm going to, and if I, by the way, for you and the audience, if I'm looking down, it's because I make notes. So sometimes you say something and I'm like, remember that word, David. And then I write it down. So that's why I sometimes look like that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing that I wanted to chat with you about is, I'm calling it a habit, but I believe there's something deeper in there, which is I wake up in the morning and the first thing that strikes me as I'm even lying in bed, my eyes open and I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm just angry.
Oh, I hear that. Mm-hmm.
And
Uh-huh.
I don't want this habit to be there. It doesn't feel like a good start to the day.
Oh, I can feel that. Yeah.
And yet I feel like there's something that needs to be attended to.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that forward too. A lot of people who live on the margins, many women find anger to be something to be gotten rid of and relieved of before it's known. Sometimes it relieves, sometimes not. But anger is a big topic. I appreciate that. And waking up in the morning with it, that's a profound thing you're telling me. And well, two things I want to say that I'm witnessing, because I talk about unshaming being a kind of witnessing. One, I heard when you talked about the anger, I heard the tone and energy in you. So you started to show it to me. And that's really good. I'll need to see more about that. But thank you for that. That wakes me up. Oh, I'm starting to already feel the energy of what you're talking about. And that's because people often have descriptions of things, anger, anxiety, but then the feeling of it is so important to get to know. I get more intimate with it, so I hear your tone. And then waking up in the morning is a very important detail, and I know a lot of things about that. And one of the important things is in the dream world, in the sleeping world, things flow. Anger flows, tornadoes flow, but we don't stop them, right? If I'm in a dream and a tornado comes, I may think, how do I stop the tornado? But the tornado doesn't care what David thinks, right? So to speak, right? So the energies in the dream flow and relate freely. And then when a person wakes up, their normal consciousness enters. And the normal consciousness is not as huge as nature, right? Nature says, sure, volcanoes, I don't know, people are in the way. It's not meant meanly or harshly. It just does its erupting, right? Or big waves come and things like that. But then we wake up and the normal mind, the conscious mind, says, well, these things are good and these things are bad. So the fact that this happens as soon as you wake up says to me, it's a very central spot for how way you frame life. Otherwise it would happen later on in the day. You would see somebody you don't like and project onto them. I hate that social media person. I have that with certain people. There's that jerk again, right? But I wake up with certain things. The things I wake up with are part of how I construct myself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I wake up out of the dream world where it's all a flow of dreaming, and now David's like this. He doesn't want to be this, and anyway, so the way you construct yourself, and anger wants to say something about that. That's what I know so far. Mm-hmm. Yeah, You're nodding. We have to go more deeply into that. What do you think about that so far? You're nodding. You probably have thoughts or associations, and then we'll go more deeply into that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's probably two sides to that, which are not opposite. They're intertwined, which is, and I know that you talk a lot about trauma. It's central to your work.
Yes.
And a sexual assault trauma happened to me when I was a child, and it would happen in the middle of the night. And so, there's a theme, and I can speak very openly about this. I've been through a lot of really good trauma
Did the
therapy.
person wake you up out of sleep?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, I gotta take that in for a second.
So
Oh,
there's a piece to this, right? That
yeah.
thinking about getting ready for this, I was like, wait a
Mhm.
minute, I wonder if there's some part of that that's
Yeah.
playing into this anger.
Yes.
And I think in my dream
I believe
state,
it because you're saying it to me, not because I'm my theory. I think
yes,
I'm asking a person about something and they say, here's something that comes up automatically for me around that. So I think you're telling me that. My ears say, I zero reason not to believe that, zero reason to doubt even the tiniest bit. I'm like, she's telling me exactly what's important for us to be talking about. Mm-hmm.
and you mentioned the construct, which is I think is also important because in my dream world, in the last couple of years, I've been remembering my dreams and waking up remembering them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that anger is also, but in this dreamland, I get to do so many interesting, unusual things. And then I wake up
Yeah.
and I have to be somebody else sometimes.
What do you get to do?
Oh, there's a lot of magic in my
I
dreams.
was thinking, do you fly?
Mm.
No.
It's not about flying
Uh-huh.
as much as it is about fully being, fully being. And that fully being radiates and shines and impacts others. And
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. That's super helpful to me. And I say to you and to everyone, there are two very important experiences that need to be known. By known, when I say known means unshamed, meaning looked at as if they're a bud. And one experience is the anger, and the other experience is the experience of fully being, because you have it in your dream, and your body says to me to pay attention because it starts doing things. Your body starts, your hands make motion. You're not thinking, I'll show it to you. But your hand starts making, and your voice changes, and I won't get your emotions exactly right, but your hands start moving out, fully being. So that says to me, and my witnessing says, David, she's trying to show you that. That means it needs to be seen more. The body's already doing it. By body, I mean your hands, your breath, the tone of your voice. So both of those experiences are important. Just to say a word about sexual assault, that deserves more than we're going to do today, more than an hour, more than a session. I just want people to know so we're not treating that like, okay, we'll take care of that problem. Let's go 20 minutes. We can. I don't think that way. I don't know all the work you've done on that, how many years you've worked on those things. I just want to say I'm not dismissing something like that by focusing on only two things when the whole experience deserves lots of witnessing in all its details and experience and somatic stored memory, and all those things are worthy of care, with how much you associate and dissociate and all kinds of things that happen for you which I don't know about. But if we had more time and we weren't in this particular moment, I would make sure I ask about all that and get to know you more. I want to say that for you, but also for the audience, so they don't think, what about that? I'm like, yeah, you have to take pieces at a time, but two
yes.
pieces of what the assault, the trauma around that assault, two pieces are angering, and then something really amazing, which I hope we get to. We'll have to see what's right for you. The sense of fully being is very important, because when a big trauma occurs, I don't know, are there small traumas? I don't know. Okay, when a trauma occurs, one of the damages it does, beyond the pain, the suffering, the freezing, the fawning, and all the things in the being out of alignment with oneself and needing to be regulated, beyond all the things that we think of healing, the trauma covers over very beautiful things about people. So part of the trauma healing is not only relieving all those difficulties, but celebrating and giving space for the beauty, power, gifts of the person to emerge. And sometimes that's forgotten, but because you're talking about the fully beingness and how that is an offering to people, that's very important in your trauma work, to make sure you don't only focus on the difficulty and pain that needs its proper attention, but the fully being one in you that wants to emerge. Because why do we get rid of the trauma? We want to relieve you from your suffering, but then we're hoping that the being emerges in her full capacities, in her full glory, in her magic. Otherwise, we make a person feel better. Great. But what were they here to do? What was their birthright? What's their contribution? How do they love? What paintings do they make? What's the song of their heart? Then we want to make sure we know those things. And you're insinuating that fully being stuff. And the anger says, you have to go through me to get there. In the dream life, I'm fine. But in the waking life, you got to go through me. So then I say, okay, dear anger, I bow to you and I will respect you. I may not agree with everything about you, but I respect you. I will listen to you. I will treat you like you're a spirit that is worthy of our best care. Mm-hmm. Sure, that was a lot to say. Mm-hmm. Trying to frame things as we go. Mm-hmm. What do you say about going into that anger a bit? Would that be something that you're open to doing?
Absolutely.
Great. Just wanted to get her consent about that so that we're in trauma territory. I don't want to assert my view. My viewpoint's okay, but an intervention has to be respectful. Mm-hmm. And before you were saying, I wake up and I'm angry, and you had a certain tone and energy. Can you recall that or still feel that energy?
Mm-hmm.
Great. And where is that energy most prominent in your energy body?
It's right in the middle of my chest.
Right in the middle of
I've got my fist here. It feels like a fist. It feels like this molten place inside my chest.
No wonder why I'm thinking about earthquakes and stuff. That wasn't intentionally. It just sometimes life resonates like that. And you make a fist. I'm going to do that. I hope people can see. I never know what people can see on these things. There's a fist there. Keep your fist there. I'm describing it as a fist, by the way, because Nikki describes it that way. That's not an interpretation. I'm witnessing. And she said there's a moltenness. And go ahead and put your awareness gently, clearly onto that experience in the middle of your chest, fist-like, molten-like. Take your time with that. Making a somatic experience deserves a spaciousness so people don't feel pressured into connecting with themselves. Stay with that, Nikki. Nikki closes her eyes. That's a good sign. That's her body saying, yes, I'm going to go do that. That's her way of telling me that. Yeah. You don't have to answer yet. What's it like? What's that feeling, that molten fist-like experience in the middle of the chest?
I can see that it's very yellow on the inside, and then it gets to varying oranges and red on the outside. It's the size of my fist, and everything around it is black. And it's swirling inside that blackness.
Wow. It's an amazing description. So what you did, Nikki, I'm saying to everybody, is we switched. That's not a bad thing. That's just this is just a witnessing. From a somatic, this is what it feels like in my body, to a visual. So Nikki says, I'm experiencing it visually. That's what she just told me. And she gave me in picture. I drew it like a yellow circle, then an orange circle, then a black circle. I'm drawing it so I can make contact with her experience. And would it be better to stay with the feeling experience of the moltenness and fist, or that visual description of the yellow, orange, and black?
I'm ready to switch from the visual to the feeling.
Okay.
I just needed that visual because I'm highly visual.
Oh, that's very
I
important.
see things in my head first, and then that is sort of the portal into what's the feeling in behind it.
This is a great, thank you so much for that. This is a great moment for me, an important moment, what I mean by that, because there's two directions that we could go to understand and unshame that experience. One is a physical, somatic experience, and one is a visual. That's why I'm asking her the question. I don't have a sense of what's right or wrong. I just have a sense that Nikki's going to show me that way. And then I ask you, Nikki, and you say, I'm happy to go with the somatic experience. I'm ready to do that. And I'm also a visual person, which makes me still interested in both. And I like the fact that you're a visual person. I want to honor that also because there could be a gift in that. I'm a little bit inclined to stay with the visual, but I'm happy to go either place. Check yourself when I say, let's stick with the visual. What happens inside you? Do you think, no, no, or hesitation or something go, oh, good.
Yeah, my brain moves forward with the visual. It actually already has.
Great. Okay. So we got her feedback. See, so listen to everybody. That's very important because I'm witnessing her system. And I could think, no, we should go back to somatics. That's my viewpoint. I'm mimicking myself. But her system says, I'm already doing something. Follow my river. And I want to. So let's stay with the visual. Put your eyes on that yellow, orange, and black. Mm-hmm. Let's put your eyes, study the nature of those colors, meaning are they dull, are they lit up, are they a little bit mixed? Is the yellow some yellow and then some darker yellow? Is the black pure black or is it gray? Just put your attention on it, like you're just studying it like a piece of artwork. Mm-hmm.
It's quite beautiful
Oh,
when I just look at it without feeling into it.
gorgeous. It's got a beauty to it. Uh-huh. And when you're looking at it and you're seeing the beauty, are you focusing on any particular color or the whole thing at once?
Well, there's a few things. It's the contrast between the black and then the red and orange and yellow on the inside.
Yes.
That contrast is so striking.
Isn't it?
And then the colors on the inside just seem to melt and fold into each other in a way that is so connected.
Beautiful.
It's not like the colors are discrete. They're all blending and connected to each other, and yet they all have their own distinct color.
Gorgeous. The yellow and orange blend and meld and do beautiful things. And then the blackness around it is a distinct difference. It's a contrast. So now everybody, I'm thinking of two visual experiences, right? We're in the visual field. We're in sensory experience. That's what somatic is. Now we're in sensory visual. We're outside of the mind's idea. We're in a deep experience that will unshame, that will unfold on its own given time. So we're in a great place, Nikki, to be. I would say we have to do one thing at a time. The orange-yellow bit and the black bit have to be done separately. Let's start with the black bit because it's wrapping around, not necessarily making the other available, and it's a big contrast. I don't want to blend it in. It's not blended in your description. Mm-hmm. She's nodding a little bit. That says it's okay to me. Yeah, and you're going to say something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Focus on that blackness. And what would happen, Nikki, if that black, forget about the orange-yellow circle in the middle. Just, dear orange-yellow, we're going to get back to you. I promise. But we need to know something about the world you're encased in.
Yeah, the black feels two things, like it's a safe container containing all that heat, all that stuff, for lack of a better word at this exact moment, on the inside.
Wow.
And it's a container, but it's also a restrictor.
Yes.
The stuff on the inside wants to come out, and it's being held in lovingly, but also forcefully.
Got it. Great to hear. There's a black container that's a little forceful. It's protective and loving in a certain way, but it's also restrictive in a way. The job it's doing is, according to the orange-yellow, is not quite perfect. It's appreciated, but because she says it's loving in a certain way and making a safety of a kind, and yet something says, I want to come out, and the black restrictive thing is not exactly in one accord with that. Okay, can you use your hands and represent the black force? Protective, loving, but restrictive. Put those in your hands if possible.
It's like this.
Great. and feel that with your hands as if you were your hands. You are given the divine task of doing this. I'm here to lovingly protect. I know you might feel restricted, but this is my habit. This is my job. I'm calling it a habit because you called something a habit earlier. I have a job. Maybe it's not the best job anymore, but I'm giving it and I'm doing it the best I can.
That's beautiful. That really resonates.
Okay, great. Use your hands and feel it. Feel the loving protectiveness and feel the restrictiveness. Something might say, I want to flow out. Don't let me with those hands yet.
Yeah. It's like a hug
Uh-huh.
that feels too much, and yet it feels good. It's such a weird feeling.
Stay with that. I'm going to represent the orange yellow. Stay with that because I want Nikki to have the experience of this particular energy a little bit more as opposed to doing both. It's really nice hug, but it's too much. I need to get out. Don't just give in easily unless you really, really want to. Be a little restrictive for just a little longer. I want you to get to know the restrictiveness. Let me out. I want to flow. It's a little bit too much for me now. You're nodding and you've gotten your hands there. We're in just the right spot. Why are you holding me so tight? Why won't you loosen up? You're nodding. You understand something. What does this one say back? They're just words, but they'll capture the experience.
Yeah, it's this, I want to call it a mother grip. It's the mother grip of love and care and compassion.
Thank you for that. But it's a little too restrictive, dear mother. Why are you... Tell me more about your I can't let you out part. I get the loving part. I feel that from you. But aren't you noticing that I'm wanting to come out? I'm not saying you should let me. I trust you. I have to trust that part first.
Baby, I'm scared for you.
You are?
I don't want you to be blown into a million pieces.
Thank you
I want to protect you.
Dear restrictor, this is genuinely a question. Is there any anger around that you express? Not in you?
No, it's all love.
Okay. I might be a little tiny bit getting frustrated or angry because I feel held in a little bit.
Yeah. I hear you.
Okay, Nikki, this is going to be too abrupt, but let's switch.
Yes,
Please represent the orange-yellow flowing energy, because I need to know the other side now, everybody, right? I'm witnessing. I'm not thinking there's a way she should go. Somebody might think, let this out, this is what should happen. But I think I'm a witnesser now. I'm not here to put any ideas, even if I'm absolutely right. Nikki, I want to help Nikki trust her experiences. That's part of what has to happen. Okay, I'm holding you tight. I'm loving you. I'm here to protect you, sweetheart. I'm mothering you the best I can. I'm too afraid to let go. I'm sorry. I have to restrict a little bit too. Feel your impulse to get out, to be unrestricted, please.
Yeah. I need to breathe, and this is too tight. I need to shine, and this is too tight. I love how you hold me, and I need you to loosen your grip.
I don't think I can do that yet. I'm given a very firm job. It's become a habit, and it's a little bit frozen in cement or ice or something. It's locked in. And I want to, but I notice my hands, my being doesn't budge. You may have to do something. I don't know that I'll just loosen you on request.
I'm going to wiggle and squirm and poke my fingers out and try and help you loosen that grip.
That's going to do a little bit, but my grip becomes more firm. I'm sorry, I don't want to do that, but that's what I think. Uh-oh, she's trying to get out. I better get tight.
Oh.
And the reason why I'm doing this, stay with it, Nikki. The reason
Yeah.
why I'm doing this is because if I just say, okay, everything's fine, it's not going to resolve the issue because it's
Yeah.
a longer term black thing and it's got fist and hardness in it. I don't want to make believe it can just be all nice because she asked. It has to resolve the problem of the restrictive. We have to find out her resolution, and moving around is not going to do it. It's too habit, you see, she said. And we know there's an angry energy that's somehow part of the medicine, and we haven't found that yet. That's why I'm saying, Nikki and everybody, that's why I'm not budging yet. I want to. David would say, sure, I understand, but the thing inside doesn't do that yet. Sorry, you can try to wiggle around. I'm pretty firm. I was given a job. I'm not ready to drop it. I may never drop it by myself. I came in trauma, and now I'm doing my job. And it was a good job. You recognize that?
Yeah.
How are you going to get your flow? You could stay inside there, but you're not only happy there. You could try wiggling. I'm not loosening. What do you have inside of you? What's the energy? Is that energy you're calling anger still in there a little bit? Or is it
It
gone?
is. It is there. And I feel like it can be used to heat up, create, loving heat. It's like ferocious heat.
Yes. You're going to need that ferocious heat to break out
Ferocious
a particular
heat.
spot.
Yeah.
And it's not only to get out of that problem, it's because you're made of ferocious heat.
Yes.
Some people say, oh yeah, ferocious heat, so she can break out and then be something else. And I think, no, ferocious heat, because you see, inside of this casing, it's an alchemy. She's cooking something. And if we just say, okay, come on out, then we're not letting the cooking process finish. The cooking process finishes and she comes out with some ferocious heat. And that needs to be part of who emerges in that yellow orange. Go ahead, connect with that ferocious heat and believe in it for a moment. Now we're believing in that just like we believed in the black restrictor. We're unshaming now the ferocious heat. What would it be like to live as ferocious heat?
Wow, I'm feeling the heat as I pull in my breath right from my toes all the way up. My palms are sweaty, like I am wet, sweaty, hot.
Great. And what would it be like to walk through the world as ferocious heat? If I met you and I was like, whoa, shit, ferocious heat. I didn't say, oh, hi, Nikki. I went, oh, ferocious heat.
It would be blast. It would be, you could feel me coming from many, many feet away. The energy you would notice, you couldn't help but turn and face me and notice or run away, whatever you need to do, because I am here and I am alive and I am on fire.
Okay, my whole body went into tingles and my eyes got moist, and that's what my body does when someone's telling me a truth, the truth meaning from inside them, not the truth meaning versus a lie, the truth of their being. I am alive. I am here. I'm here now. I'm here and I'm on fire. That's me. That's fully being. Remember we talked about the fully being before? That's in the dream that wants to enter. Pass through the anger. Pass through the blackness. Because the blackness is a bad thing? No, it's also loving. Is it a bad thing because it's restricting? No. If it didn't restrict, she wouldn't find her fierce fire, ferocious fire. We're believing in all of it, unshaming all of it. Nothing is bad. The way it's cooking and alchemizing is what's making this person herself, the bud. She flowers into ferocious heat and fire. Wow, Nikki, that's amazing. I know our time is a little towards our end. Some people say, go as long as you need, but I just think it's some people need that cared about the time. Wow, I'm here. When a person says, I'm here, it's a rare thing. That's a life moment because it takes a lifetime, often generations. People don't think that. I can just be present, but it takes sometimes generations for a person to say, I'm here. Whoa, that's no small moment. That's an amazing moment. Whew. Incredible. You're here. A trauma, a sexual assault may have created a difficulty in the being here. Maybe that happened in your life. Maybe it happened in many generations before. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. So we can't only say it's that experience, but it could be beyond your personal experience. And for many people and for many women, you're not just talking about your own experience, but experience that lives in many people, in many women, in many girls, in many mothers, in many grandmothers, and many men also. I know that as a man growing up and waking up into violence. So you're speaking for many of us. And to be here, whew, amazing. Sacred. Do you want to say anything else? I'm moving along a little faster than I want because a part of me is like, but a part of me just wants to sit and talk with you and everybody for whatever, an hour, and whatever triggers in other people to be brought in so we can make a communal experience, but I can't do all
No,
that.
this is good, and I'm able to move fast. So,
Okay.
so not to worry. And yes, that experience is profound because it shows me a different perspective of that black solidness
Mm-hmm.
and what it is. There's other sides to it that I hadn't
Mm-hmm.
thought of before and hadn't experienced before,
Mm-hmm.
and that moltenness, that ferocious heat inside
Yeah.
of me
Mm-hmm.
can, it's not, I call it pop through, but it's different than that. Like you say, it's the alchemizing. It's
Yeah.
just fully being,
Yeah. Fully
um,
being.
and that is everything.
Yeah.
That for me is everything.
Yeah. You wake up into the world and you have to, and the anger says, remember you're a ferocious fire and heat. Otherwise, I will be here bothering you. You've got to
Yes.
remember you can wake up and you can kind of want, I just want to have a sweet morning. But if I'm here, says anger, you have to remember your ferocious heat as you enter the world.
I think it's inviting me, it's begging me to step into that ferocious heat, to
Yeah,
remember that ferocious heat, to be that ferocious heat. It's
correct.
knocking on the door, asking for me to come through.
That's what I'm seeing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nikki,
Yeah.
thank you
Beautiful.
so much. Wow.
Thank you.
What
Thank
a
you.
blessing to get to meet you and to share something, the real thing, I call it, what really goes on inside of people and what it looks like to believe in people's unfolding and to believe that what's happening inside them has intelligence built into it. Mm-hmm.
And
And
I'm
that we
honored to
can,
be the receiver of your gifts.
oh, so welcome. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. If you would share more about UnShamed TV, I would love to let people know this exists and share more of what it looks like to be treated a certain way. I know people get moved by that. Lots of love to all of you. See you, Nikki. Thanks. Bye, everybody.